This morning's webcast is going to be over 3D via Composer, and this is more of kind of a mid-level to an advanced type of thing, topic as far as interactive documentation. So kind of go through what companies are used to and even what you may be used to as far as documentation goes. Let's see. So this is one of the examples I'll be using in the documentation that'll be shown here in a moment. And I want to point out with 3D VIA, one of the first things about VIA is if you have a PowerPoint like this or Word document or anything like that, and you're not sure if the documentation is going to be updated or the model is going to be updated later on, you can actually within PowerPoint or Word or any of the other products actually link a image to it, so it makes it real easy to have it auto update or mostly update, so it'll follow your documentation with you. Going on to the next slide here. Most of us are all used to the old style of documentation. If you've ever been to a furniture store, this is what you get in the box there. You essentially get this is a PDF of that same document. So you get the steps. So step one, pull that part out, put the lid in there, start putting the legs on, you go on to the next page, and so on and so forth. Well, the first thing is 3D VIA will promote or enhance these, because all these images were created off of standardized views, and if my assembly would update, I can push these images back out and then have them update into my PDF here again. So a lot of those things that can be automated are definitely there with VIA. But this is the old style of instructions. Kind of getting with the new devices and new trend and of electronic distribution. Let's go and take a look at the new style of documentation. So this is an example of it being in a PowerPoint. So this is the 3D viewer that it's embedded into a PowerPoint. I'll show you how to do that later on. So let's go and rewind this animation here, and so all I have to do is start it up, and right away I can get a quick animation of the parts exploding and taking a look at the top piece. Here's the interactive part, is the fact that I can come over here, click on this next button, and it'll switch to the next image there. I'm doing this slow enough so that it'll show up on the webcast as well too. So I click on the next one, rotates the model over, and starts showing how I start putting the legs together. Going on to the next one, we're going to put the rails in for the runner there. Well, all right. Here's the next thing though: is what happens if we didn't actually figure out what they were doing with that? Well, besides just plain step by step here, I can actually take my model. It's not just a static image. I can actually rotate it around, and I could actually zoom in on an area so you could see exactly what they were doing. So I could see, okay, well, I needed that particular screw at that location. Then I could pan over and I could see, okay, we've got screws there. I've got some other stuff going on over here. And then when I'm ready, go back to my normal select and then go right back into the animation. This is really useful, especially if you've got a complex assembly, whether it be for the end consumer or whether it be for your production guys. So we'll just go through the rest of the steps here just so you can see the rest of the animation here. Goes through, puts the feet in, flip it over, and we've got the true drawers that have been assembled in another instruction set to finish it. Alright, well, this is good and all, dropping it into a PowerPoint. Well, let's go and take a look at the next slide here. 3D VIA has some built-in templates for PDFs, Adobe Acrobat PDFs. Standard 2D image would come up on the documentation without a plugin or a reader. Let's see, let's go and open this up here. Alright, so this is in Adobe Acrobat. So looking at the standard template, you could change the logo out, you could change whether it's got the requirements off to the side there. Key thing is the fact that if this next step that I'm going to go into is I do need the 3D Viewer plugin, which I've loaded that on my machine. I'll show you where you get that here in a moment. But realize that this is just a PDF. I can actually go through and start up that exact same interface or the player. I'll go and turn off a few things here. So I'm going to turn off those guys. So now I'm actually back into the exact same animation that I was on my interactive, and this is in a PDF form that can be distributed off the web there. So then I can go through and I can go stepping through my same instructions. And again, just as if I needed to look at a particular area, I could zoom in on a corner down here to actually see what was going on with that area. Also notice that if I had named my information appropriately back at the part level, I actually could get information from the parts itself of what part number it was or what component it might be just by hovering over the top of it. Okay, again I'll go back into my animation by hitting next, and we'll just scroll through it. So same basic items. So that's the documentation that this webcast, the essence of what this webcast is going to be about. Okay. All right. So the location to get the viewer. It's a free viewer. I'm going to open this up here. The 2011 release of 3D Via is out now. We'll probably be doing a what's new with it later on. They've built in the SOLIDWORKS and the Acrobat plugins into the viewer. So it's one download and you get all three. The player, SOLIDWORKS plugin, and the Acrobat plugin. So it's all in one item there. And they've got it for 32 or 64-bit OSs. Okay. Alright, so let's go and see how we actually create this type of documentation here. Okay. So this is the new 2011 release of 3D Via. Not too much has changed with it. The menus are the same. We'll go and open up our first one here. Interface, pretty straightforward. You can use your mouse to navigate it, pan, zoom in and out with the scroll mouse. This was imported as a part body from SOLIDWORKS. Got the model off of 3D Content Central. Thank you for the person that did that. I've also gone through and created a few views, static views of different items that I'm wanting to animate or create the instructions with. So kind of what we're illustrating here is we're pulling the wheel off and pulling it up. So I've gone a couple of steps further, and I've actually brought in those views. Let's go and turn on the timeline here. Notice that they did change the icon in the upper left corner there, so you either have Polaroid images there or you have a film strip there, so they changed it a little bit to make it a little bit easier to understand. So with 3D Via, to create views, I get everything set on the screen there, create the view. That creates all my little thumbnails off to the side here. But then for the animation, I'm just taking these and dragging them onto the timeline at the specific increments that I want those to occur at. So if I just play out my animation here, it just goes through and animates everything. Just start to stop. No pausing, no nothing in between. So what we want to do is make this a little more interactive. Okay. Alright, so let's rewind back to the beginning here. Let's go and take a look at another item that I've added to the timeline here as well. Turning on markers, I go and switch over to my markers tab that shows up over here on the left. And I've set markers at specific times, so if I go to that particular marker, that shows up on my timeline. So if I switch to another marker, different point in time. So I've actually established specific stop points that I'm wanting to work with on the timeline. Okay, so you could have just done the animation and then added markers to it. You didn't necessarily have to create the views and drag those down. So how do we animate? Alright, so let's go and switch over to our author tab, and I'm going to grab a text 2D pane, and I'll go and bring that onto my area there. And let's go and set that up so it actually has something useful in there. So let's go and change the name. I'm just going to call this next. You can have the information change in the box as the time progresses. Let's go and change the font here a little bit. Make it bold, and let's go and pick out a different style here. Okay. Now let's go a little bit larger. I'll make it visible. Okay, there we go. Let's move that up over, probably about right there. That'll be good. So at this point, with the actor, 3dVIA calls all their parts, components, text, bill of materials, details, all those are actors, essentially items that can be animated or other things done to it. So I'll go and select the particular actor, and what I'm going to do is in my properties, let's go and expand this up here a little bit so you can see it. So with that particular actor selected, these are the properties for it. I'll go and turn on an event. I'm actually going to set a pulse. I'm going to do it a little bit slower here, maybe about 400 millisecond. This is a blinking pulse is what that is. And I'll go and set up a link. I clicked on the, let's close out of that for a moment, clicked on the little dot 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 button down there at the bottom. And I could go and link it to something else, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to link it to a play marker sequence. Okay. And then if I hit the down arrow on my next one, it allows me to actually pick out what I want it to occur at. So the pulse causes the pause, and then I'm telling it where I want it to start at. So I pick that out, which that's just the name of my marker over here. Go and click OK. So now I've got that particular marker at that timeline set to start playing. So I'll go and go to the next one here. Oh, let's go back to, let's see, we need to go, there we go. Okay. So I'm now at step 1, so it's stopped at step 1. Here's the catch though, is if I look at it again, it's actually still saying to go back to start. So I need to push that down to the next one. So step 1. And then I'll go and play to the next, or jump to the next step there, and I'll continue through the whole process. So now I'm at step 2, and I'm telling it to start playing at step 2. Go to step 3, and then I go and tell it to start playing at step 3. Go to step 4, tell it to start playing at step 4, and I go to my end location, which is all the wheels back on, and then I'll go and set these to neutral end, which that one probably could be deleted, I guess, or I could set it back to play back to the beginning there. So I've set up all the different keys on the timeline at these specific steps for that particular actor. So what I can do is if I turn off design mode, which is this little triangle in the bottom there, so again down here, so I turn that off, and this will now respond like the player would. So if I come into the animation, notice how I get that little starburst cursor next to my my mouse there. So now if I go and, now let's go and rewind here. Let's jump to the beginning. Alright, so now if I play the animation, or click on the button there, it goes to the next step. Click on the button again, goes to the next step. So I'm creating interactive documentation, but it's a little limited as far as what it's doing, because it's just replaying a sequence is what it's doing. Great for instructions though, assembly instructions, that type of thing. Alright, we'll get on to another method here in a little bit that'll actually kind of go into more interactive. Alright, so we've created our setup, so let's go and save this out as a PDF. So I'm going to go into my file menu, come down to publish, I'm going to do a publish to PDF, and we've got 3 different types of PDFs. We've got Universal 3D. That's good if you don't want the person to load up the player there, or the viewer plugin. the SMG, which is the enhanced content, which is the most interactive, and they only have to load that ad in the first time that you send them something. And then the last one is your traditional static PDF. Alright, so I'm going to save this out to my desktop here. Okay, I'll let it go through and create itself. And I'm going to grab that off of my desktop. And let's bring it over onto that screen there. Okay. Alright, so at this point I just opened up the PDF. The image is static at this point. If I didn't have the player, that's all it would be, is just static. The first click anywhere in the document will actually load up the player. Once the player is loaded, if I don't need any of the additional stuff, I can turn those off. So I'll turn off the views, turn off the markers. Okay. So at this point, now I'm ready to actually start using it as an interactive document. So I can go through the individual steps that we just created. And all that is just creating place markers for that particular point in time. Okay. Let's go and switch back to the PowerPoint here. Okay, so we went through and created the interactive PDF. Next item, let's go on to the next slide here. Well, let's go a little bit further. One better, give them a file that interacts with the user. All right, and this is, again, we're still using that same race car, but let's go and activate the interface so it's active. So I've got my little 3 view there. So now when I come over to this model, notice how I'm getting that little starburst over the top of the part that I'm pointing at. So if I click on the part, it'll actually move on me. If I come over it again, it'll move back into place. Move on to the next one, moves back into place. So I can actually use that to actually allow the end user to dissect the part if I wanted to. Above the normal tools, you can hide actors, and so like if I wanted to get rid of one of the wheels here, I could actually select it. Well, let's see, it's wanting to move on me, so let's go and select the main body here. So I could actually just hide that main part if I wanted to. So there is lots of other interactivity, but the fact that I can get parts to move out of the way and move back into place. Okay, so let's go and take a look at 3D View here again, and let's show you how you actually go about doing that type of thing. Let's go and close out of this model here, and let's go and open up the next one here. So this one is set up a little differently. First thing is there is no animation. Okay, there are markers. Won't necessarily be using those. Let's see, in fact, let's go and turn off markers, and let's go and turn off timeline here. And we're just going to focus on the one on the bottom there. Okay. So I've created 2 views, one with the wheel in position, and another view with the wheel out of position. Key thing is these views right now are just standard views. So if I took the model and rotated it around, if I wanted to go back to the other view, it flips me back to the same orientation. And again, if I go over here, want to go to that one, it flips me back to the same orientation. With a standard view, it records everything, and it records the orientation, zoom state, and the part position. So it records everything. So what we need to do is we actually need to create a few intelligent views. So to get this turned on, we're actually going to switch over to our Workshops tab. We're going to grab Views, Okay, and then it opens up our workshop pane there for views. Okay, we're going to set it up to record what the actors are doing by selection, so I only want it to record what the one actor that I'm doing. Okay, and I'm going to tell it to pick specific items. This go around, I'm actually just going to have it record the location. So what I'll do is I'll go and select my particular part or actor, and what I'll do is I'll go and create that view. So this now becomes a intelligent neutral position. Okay, and what that means so if I have a regular view, it fixes the orientation there. Let's close that for a moment. But now if I go, let's say I switch to this view, okay, I want to change the orientation of it, and I switch to my intelligent neutral, it actually puts the wheel back on but doesn't change my zoom or my orientation there. So that's the advantage of an intelligent view, is it only records what you tell it to. Alright, so we've created a intelligent neutral. Let's go and do an out position here. Alright, again, our views workshop, cameras by selected, so I'm going to tell it to record that location, and we'll go and create another view here. Okay, so we've created the other view there. And again, so now if I rotate the model, close that again here, rotate the model, zoom way in, pan over. So now I have these two views that don't change its orientation, just change the position of where that's at. So that's really what I'm wanting to work with. Alright, so I'll just switch back to the original one just to get my orientation right here for the moment. So at this point, now we need to add some intelligence to that particular actor, or that part there. So what we'll do is we'll go and select that view, and what we'll do is we'll go and scroll down to its properties. We'll go down to its pulse. I'm going to tell it to do a 400 millisecond. I can have it pulse in a specific color if I wanted to. And then what I'll do is in the link I'll go and actually tell it to link to a specific view. So what I'll do is I'll go view, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to point it towards the, oh, let's see, I named those the same. Hold on one sec. Surprised nobody caught that. Alright, so we're going to call this one intelligent out. There we go. Alright, so let's go back down there again. So I'm going to link that down to view. Always a good idea to name your views separate names or unique names, even though it will allow them to be identical names. So this time I'll go and tell it to link to the intelligent out. Okay. Okay. So now that particular one is, or that wheel is linked to intelligent out. So what I want to do is I want to select this view, intelligent view. I want to select my event, my pulse. Notice that I still have my wheel selected, so my actor there. I'll go back to my workshop. So key things: intelligent, or your view selected, the properties that you want it to select, and the actor itself. So I want location, I want the link, and I also want the selected properties. Okay. So now I'll go and tell it to update, and what it's going to do is it's going to update this view that I had selected. Okay. So let's go and go to the other one, and we're going to do the exact same thing but in the reverse here. So I select the actor there, go and set it to be intelligent neutral. Okay. Again, view, intelligent neutral. I'll select the link, select the pulse, select the view, make sure it's selected, the actor selected, location, link, and selected properties. Go and tell it to update those. Okay. So now I actually have two views. Let's close that out. that will reference each other. So if I go to Intelligent Neutral, again, come out of design mode, so I have to turn off design mode. Again, bottom, down here on the bottom, so I turn that off so it'll act like an actor. See how we're getting the pulse there? Yeah, it looks like it's coming across on the webcast. So now if I come over that particular part, I click on it, moves out. If I click on it again, moves back in. So you could go through and you could do that same type of item to the rest of the parts if you wanted to. And all it's doing, if you look over here at the left, is it's just toggling between the two intelligent views there. And again, because they're intelligent views, I could change my orientation, and I have the ability of clicking on it at any zoom state if I wanted to. I could take a look at it right here, zoom it in, and zoom it back out again. So at this point, these other two views I don't really need anymore. So I'm going to delete those. And let's go and switch to a normal orientation here. And let's go to that orientation there. And let's go and bring that back in just so that we've got it back in its regular position. Okay. Regular position, went back to design mode. So let's go and get this documentation out of the model here. Alright, I'll go and save the model just as the existing SMG, which is the extension that 3D VIA uses. I'll go and come into my file menu, come down to publish. Well, you know what, actually, rather than doing the PDF again, we've already done that. Let's go and just save this file. Let's go and close out of it, and kind of show you a little behind the scenes on this PowerPoint. So I'm going to actually bring over the PowerPoint program onto the screen. Okay, and let's go and insert a view, or that the player, into my PowerPoint. And this could be also Word too, or other publisher, thing like that. So the first thing I need to do is a little bit of setup. And if you're using the 2007 Office, this is what it's going to look like. If you're not using 2007, you would actually have to find out where your PowerPoint options are. So I'm going to go into PowerPoint options down here at the bottom. And what I need to do, and this is a one-time only that I need to turn this on, but I need to turn on my developer tab to show up on the toolbar. Again, Microsoft is calling these ribbons. So if you have different tabs there for the different menus there. So I'm going to add the developer tab to the ribbon there. Okay, so I switch over to that new tab, and then we have this button called More Controls. And it's this little wrench and hammer icon. So I go and click on that, and because I've installed 3D VIA onto this machine, I actually have this extra Player ActiveX controller. So what I'll do is I'll go and select it, I'll go and hit OK, drag myself a window. Okay. So now I have a blank area to work with. Go and right click over it, come down to my player control objects, and go and get into the properties. And I'll go and point it out to that file. Okay. So we're going to bring in the one that we were just working on. Let's verify that. Let's go details. Yeah, I think that's the correct one. Memo 3D, another name for SMG file. This is if you didn't want it to reference back to the file, like if you're sending that out to somebody, maybe you did want to embed it in there. And we also have the ability of controlling some of the layout settings here. So I'm going to turn off a few items that I don't need. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we're going to apply. So now, when I go back into my PowerPoint, let's go to the next slide here. So now I have that embedded player with the animation that we just created. So if I come over and I click on that particular part, oh, let's see here. Need to get it into that mode. Give me one sec. Oh, it's because I had the PowerPoint running. Give me one sec here. It's always difficult when you have active documents currently working that you're working on. Okay, so let's get that back up here. There we go. Okay, so we're on our first view. So now that we're getting that pulse there, now I can actually click on the part and actually be able to get it to toggle back and forth between that. And again, there's other ways of getting it to auto start as well too. This is just kind of a quick overview of how to kind of get into that type of documentation. Yeah, I can turn those off, and I could also turn off the timeline as well. So now that I've got it active and running, then I'll be able to use it interactively. Okay. Let's see, at this point, a few other things I want to kind of just cover. Just want to say thanks to the two people that created the two items that I was using in this webcast. And last thing that I wanted to talk about here is we do also have other ways that we provide information to the community. We have Twitter. We're on Facebook. YouTube, I've put some content myself actually onto the YouTube channel. So it's DIGDIM CAD, so DigDim CAD. And then we also have the SOLIDWORKS Heard and SOLIDWORKS Heard for the webcasts and podcasts. Thank you, and that's all we have for our webcast today. Have a great day.